Wow, it's time for another show full of tips and ideas from the sales growth leadership expert, Dean Akers. Known for his experience in hyper-growing companies and creating cultures for high-performance teams, here's Dean.
Well, welcome to your Sales and Leadership Ninja Show. I'm your head ninja, Dean Akers, bringing you each week a rant to stimulate your thinking in either the realm of sales or leadership or, quite frankly, just life. I want to thank all those that reach out each week with their comments and the things they want to learn more about. I also love to get the feedback, and I've gotten, again, a number of companies that are using this rant every week in their sales meetings, so feel free to download it from YouTube and just show your sales teams each week, or if it's not appropriate for sales and maybe you think it's appropriate for leadership or whatever, feel free to use it. Feel free to use it. It's a pleasure to me to be able to bring this to you each week, and I'm happy that I get so much feedback that it's of help. And again, we're in over 135 countries now with the podcast, and tens of thousands of downloads, so we love it. At any rate, today's show is a passionate show for me, and it's the same for all of us. And somebody asked me, what do you mean it's the same for all of us? Well, I learned something when I was a young man, and I've been so blessed by having people teach me lessons of life early in life. And so when I was growing up, a wise man shared this with me, and it was pretty profound, actually. And he said, I got to teach you something. This is the one thing, if you can remember this in life, and for all of you listening today, if you can remember this in your business and your personal life, it's going to change your world when you really start thinking about it and executing it, because it's the one thing that's the same for all of us. Some people out there listening and watching are either tall or short. Some of us are a little bit heavier and a little bit skinnier. And then, of course, we want to think some of us are handsome and maybe not as handsome. And there's certainly some of us that are smarter than others and not so smart. So what is the thing that's the same for all of us? Well, it's the one thing that's the same for all of us except two times in our life. And that's time and 24 hours in a day. That's right. Time and 24 hours a day. And those 2 days that they're exceptions are the day we come into this world and the day we leave it. And unfortunately or fortunately, those aren't timed to 24-hour specific events. But the rest of our life, we have the same amount of time as Bill Gates. We have the same amount of time as the President of the United States. We have the same amount of time as the guy that's homeless sitting on the side of the road. So the 24 hours a day is universal for all of us. And it's pretty neat to understand when you know that and understand it, how important it can be for you and how it can help you. So remember, birth and death are the two exceptions. 24 hours in a day, we all have the same time. So I run into people all the time, and they complain about, Dean, I just don't have time. I'm covered up. I just don't have time. And I laugh to myself saying, and sometimes I'm pretty blunt with them and say, you do have time. You have the same amount of time. There's a story about the guy, I don't have enough time, and a guy says to him, this is a Zig Ziglar story. He says, well, that's too bad because I have a Learjet that's going to be at the airport in an hour, and that Learjet was going to take you and your significant other to New York City, where you would have a $5,000 spending spree, and then we'd go to a Broadway show that night, spend the night at the Ritz-Carlton in New York City, and then fly back in the next morning. But I got you don't have enough time. Guess what suddenly happens? Well, wait a minute, I got enough time for that. So suddenly they reprioritize the time. So we all have enough time. And again, we have the same 24 hours in a day. Well, this past week, I was blessed to have a former two-time mayor of Tampa, Dick Greco Jr., on my other show, my CEO Hour show, and he shared a really cool story about a shopping center or mall legend, Eddie DeBartolo Sr. And Dick worked with Eddie DeBartolo Sr. for years, and Eddie DeBartolo Sr., I think, was a true billionaire back in the early days. And so Dick was sharing the story about this one particular day. He was in the office, and here comes Eddie DeBartolo Sr. hobbling in. I don't know whether he broke his foot, whatever the deal is, but he came in with an injury that he should have stayed home with. And Dick asked him, he goes, Mr. DeBartolo, why are you in here? Why are you not staying at home? And this is the profound thing he said to Dick. He says, the reason I come in is my hurt foot doesn't know where it is. It doesn't know whether I'm at home or at the office. It's going to hurt either place, so I might as well be here. How profound was that? How profound was that he understood that his time was the more valuable thing? The pain was going to be a pain wherever he had it. It wasn't like it was a contagious disease, which I understand if you have a cold or flu, you shouldn't come in. But he chose to come in because, and he said those profound words were, my foot doesn't know where it's going to be hurt, whether it's hurting at my house or it's hurting in my office. And I thought that was very profound. And Dick Greco, if you haven't heard that podcast, it's the CEO Hour under my name. And there's every week I feature a CEO and they share their unique journeys. And this week was a unique journey with Dick Greco, former mayor of Tampa Bay, or Tampa, Florida. So how profound is that? And I'm reminded of it every day. So I was talking to somebody recently and they were telling me that they want to start getting in shape. And I go, okay, great. You should be able to do that easy. I go, I don't have enough time. I looked at him, I go, what? You don't have enough time? No, I'm going to sign up, join a gym, and I want to allocate an hour, and I got to drive there, and I got to And I said, well, why would you need to join a gym? And they go, well, you need to join a gym so I can start working out and stuff. And I pulled up this thing. If you're watching on YouTube, I don't know if it's going to show up. It's a 7-minute workout. It's an app, and you can buy it. It's 7 minutes. I defy you to do those 7 minutes 7 days a week and figure out how good a shape you'll be in. It's push-ups, sit-ups, walking. And what happens is it's a 7-minute workout and it walks you through with 30-second intervals between these push-ups and everything. I promise you, you do that for a month, you're going to be a rock. You're going to be in such good shape in 7 minutes a day, you never have to go to a gym. You can walk to work. You can walk to your grocery store, different things. There's so many ways to get exercise through the course of the day without having to make the excuse, I don't have enough time and I got to join a gym. So get the 7-minute workout. It's not a pitch for them, but there's tons of programs like that out there. The other thing is you can sit in your house and just do sit-ups, push-ups, and just do stuff in your house. I promise you. Look at the Marines. They don't go to a gym. They do push-ups, sit-ups. Those guys are rock solid. So just use it, do it 7 minutes a day. You're going to be in rock sharp. Just eliminate the time as an excuse. So one of the other things is people tell me time. This is my big tip of the day. This is my big tip, and I've been using it for a long time, is you take, and nowadays we have these iPhones, and I go to my timer, and my timer's always set on 10 minutes. I punch it, and then I just let it count down and do 10 minutes worth of stuff. And those that are watching are seeing it. It does 10 minutes worth of time. And in that 10 minutes, I do something that I quote, don't have enough time. Again, the 7-minute workout. Again, reading a book. Again, writing letters to friends. Again, doing whatever I always say I don't have enough time to do. Work on accounting. That tip, when I sit down with people and they go, what is 10 minutes a day? I say, that's 60 hours a year. Ask yourself what you could do in 60 hours a year. This book, my book, Self-Talk, Think Like a Child, was written 10 minutes a day. When I sat there and said, I've got to write a book, do I have enough time to write a book? The answer is yes, in increments of 10 minutes a day. And that's how that book was written. So when you say you don't have enough time, just remember that you do have enough time. It's the only thing that is equal for all of us. So again, I want to thank you for tuning in this week, and remember to share if this helps you. And again, people reach out to me for the Sales Basics 3-Circle program. I'll send that to you. The Organizational Climate Questionnaire, I can send that to you. The CEO Physical, by the way, is on my website. That's www.adjunctceo.com or www.deanakers.com, and it's on there. And again, if you want the book Self-Talk, Think Like a Child, reach out to me at help@adjunctceo.com, and I will mail you a copy if you take the time to reach out and just give me your mailing address. I'll send you a copy for that. So, in closing today, it's the same for all of us. And this wise man shared this to me when I was a young man, and this is what he said to me. Take time while time doth last, for if thou don't take time, time will pass. And remember, it's the same time for all of us. Have a great week. See you next week.
We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Subscribe today to our podcast and send questions or thoughts to help@deanacres.com. Also, visit us at www.deanacres.com to listen to prior shows and view helpful videos. Also, great tips to download. Thanks again. See you next week.